Hello, everybody. Okay, I'm about to go live with Twinks, and I'm just going to add her, so give me a sec. Here. Hello, hello. Hi, lovely.
Hi.
How's your week going? Whoop, I've lost your audio for a minute there. Hang on.
I know. Can you
Okay,
hear me?
we're back. We're back. Hey, hey,
Gorgeous.
hey, hi, Lucy Jenner. All right. So thanks, everybody. For those of you who are tuning in, I'm Fran Ayala Rock. I'm the founder of Bitches and Stitches. I'm based in London. And tonight, very special live Q&A with Twinks Burnett, who recently did our International Women's Month show. And Twinks, can you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself um, in and out of comedy.
Oh gosh. Okay. Hi, I'm Twinks Burnett. You may know me from a long and arduous styling career, or from a gorgeous flinter party that I co-founded with my best friend called Heartbreakers Club. Or just you might have seen me frolicking in festival fields, come close or come far, early hours in the morning or late at night. And I'm a brand new comedy baby on the
What
scene.
what? So like when you say brand new, can you let's put a number on it. How brand new are you?
I'm like, I'm like 2, 3 weeks in.
That's amazing. No, I know. And exactly this is why like I wanted to have you on is because again, we have a lot of followers who aren't necessarily stand-up newbies, but they're definitely comedy curious.
Love that.
Um and I think it's really good to just have that perspective. But can you tell me a little bit about what attracted you to stand-up comedy and what first got you interested in trying this out?
I'm gonna be really honest. Like a lot of my friends have been like, "Where does this come from?" And I was like, I've always wanted to do this. Like always, always, always. There are some things you watch and you're like, "Yeah, I want to do that." Like I know I'm never gonna like be a quarterback for like the Super Bowl. That isn't in my wheelhouse or my experience. I'm never gonna like win Olympic gold. Um, but yeah, it's always been there. There's always been a comedy curiosity. I'm a host anyway, so like I'm very, very, very at home with a mic in my hand. Like I love it. That's home. That's safe for me. Whereas for some people, like that would literally give me palpitations. I'm like, no, no, no. That gives me a good sense of excitement and joy. So yeah,
So
I've been
what
emceeing
go
forever.
ahead, go ahead. But yeah, what made you decide to finally take the leap and, go from being like, "Oh, I reckon this is something I could do," to be like, "You know what? I'm going to do it." What was the turning point?
One of my best friends, I kind of been like looking at doing courses for a bit because I am
Hmm.
someone where I have to have deadlines. I have to be literally like the ADHD diva in me kicks in and it's like, okay, like there has to be a deadline. There has to be something for me to do. I have to be told off
Hmm.
in order to get something done. And a friend of mine sent me it was originally an improv
Hmm.
course. It was like an LGBTQIA improv course. And I was like, oh, that seems like that would make me throw up with nerves. That felt so. I was like, no, 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 that's not it. That's not it. And they were like, no, but you're a comic. You need to do this. And I looked at the courses. I ended up doing a shout out hoopla. I did a hoopla course, and it felt affordable. You could do like a £50 deposit, and you're like, cute tap, and it was quite far in the future. And then yeah, come October, I had to turn up every week, every Tuesday, and be with these same people. And it was really cute. I haven't, I'm a lecturer in like part of my grown up adult life. So I've been in a teaching role and a mentorship role, but
Uh-huh.
to be taught again felt really cool, and to have something to turn up to every week and yeah, be set homework, because otherwise I wasn't just gonna like turn up to an open mic and do it myself. That was never gonna happen.
Hmm.
And I really like the people that I did it with as well. Like I thought it was gonna be me and a bunch of like incels called Steve. And I was really worried about that. I was so nervous going in, so nervous. I was like, oh my God, they're all going to hate me and they're all going to be misogynistic. And they were the loveliest, most adorable people. And we all had so much fun. So yeah, I did my like showcase in December, and that was really cute. And my friend that nominated me and my housemates came, and then yeah, I literally started gigging, started going up like 2 weeks ago.
Amazing, amazing. And oh my God, girl, it's like you're super natural. And I know natural is a weird thing to say in stand up because again, this is, stagecraft is something that we do practice and that we do work on, but there is intent and thought that goes into it. So I would segue then into, I guess, how would you describe your act? If somebody goes, oh, I want to come see you perform, like, what do you talk about? What's your vibe? Like, how would you describe that?
I think I'm a comic, like, I think in everything in my life, like by the girly for the girlies. It's gonna be really interesting to see how like other rooms take me, but I think girls are just like, yes, that, like I am a hyper femme, like silly sausage. Like my stuff at the moment is basically just ridiculing all my friends for getting divorced. If you're like bitches and stitches, I'm like bitches and witches. Like it's all just taking the absolute piss out of everything that I am. Which is, if you put it on paper, all seems really unique and interesting, and actually it totally isn't, because all of my friends are exactly the same. So yeah, hyper femme takes the absolute proverbial out of myself, and I'm figuring it out. Like I've only gone up 5 times and I feel like I've got a good 10 so far, but there's obviously going to be so much scope and so much range. Like what I'm putting out there right now probably won't exist in like 3 months. It's changed every time.
That's true. And I mean, it's a good thing, like, to ask also, because I mean, maybe in a year you'll look back at this and be like, huh, okay, have I kept any of that? Like when I started doing stand up, it's because I had a breakup. I had started going on the first app dates that I had ever been on in my life because I was in a relationship for 7 years, and my friends were like, girl, you need a hobby. Because like I just had all these stories, and I don't talk about dating anymore. But again, it's interesting to see, like, I still talk about relationships, but it's interesting to see like how your act will evolve and all of that. But again, girl, you're killing it. And I think what it is too is that you're not a new performer.
No.
You're a new comedian, but you're definitely not a new performer. But can you tell us a little bit about your experience as an MC? Like the first time you ever got on a mic in front of an audience. What was that like? How'd you get to that?
I think it's like with the, I am a brand new, like, I'm a tadpole of a comedian right now. I'm a complete little baby, fresh out the comedy womb. But yeah, what I lack in like going up, like set time, I've made up for in like, yeah, stage time. I've done my hours on stage, being comfortable, holding a mic, being myself, so yeah, when I'm like, I'm brand new, but it's always good to give that caveat. So no, I've been hosting and emceeing, God, I don't know. I mean, when I first went up on stage, I was a burlesque performer. So
no way.
I was taking my clothes off, but not talking. And I think I'm now kind of doing this like weird full circle where I've gone from being like baby burlesque to like established burlesque performer, and now I'm doing like the Magic Mike kind of arc where now I'm entering my Dallas phase, where now I'm going to start emceeing like shows, and I'm like,
yes.
So that feels like like I'm doing that on literally Sunday. I'm like I'm emceeing a feminist lingerie party, and I'm like, yes, from performer to MC, this feels cute. But maybe 10 years, I came up on the festival circuit.
Okay.
So like everything and anything I've done is festival adjacent. Like I had a festival brand, so I was the first like wave of festival fashion, and then burlesquing at festivals, and then we like had a collective that we were like hosting anything from games areas to stages and stuff like that. So I've always had a mic in my hand. And then last year we started Heartbreakers Club, and it kind of all just, everything I'd ever done kind of felt like it was coming to do it. And I think that's probably what pushed me to then go into comedy, because yeah, I was really holding, rather than a lot of what we were doing before was like supporting men, I guess. We were like, I was kind of
Mm-hmm.
we were there to facilitate men, and it never felt natural, it never felt right. And then it was
Okay.
like, no, 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 this is our space now. We're holding the mic and we're in charge. So I think that's probably what's pushed me to keep chasing the way that I feel authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, emceeing, it's like, I'm like, give me a mic, watch me go, whatever you need. But it's kind of like, I described it because people keep asking about like this new, that's what everyone wants to talk about, the new comedy thing at the moment with me. They're like, what is going on? But it's kind of like, the way I describe it is, I've been like a sprinter, and now I'm going into like marathon running. So yes, they're both running, but they're two completely different forms of running, you know, like that, like you're trained completely differently. As an MC, I kind of just like open my mouth and stuff comes out and you fill the time and hopefully it's entertaining. Whereas comedy is like, it's the writing, it's the finessing, it's the workshopping it all.
And
So
you're
that's
not
two
on the mic
completely different things.
forever. I think that's the challenge,
Yeah.
right? Because when you are the MC, you're not really sharing that stage in the same capacity
Mm-mm.
as anyone else. You know, that's your kingdom. But I think with stand up, the challenge is like, oh, wait, am I done? Like, you know, and I read somewhere that it takes about 7 seconds for people to decide whether they like and trust you.
Yeah.
And if you need that, just that 5 minutes to operate, and you're just like, oh no, like, you know, you can't kind of warm them up and stuff. But um I guess, like, does that make you nervous because it's different, because it's not necessarily emceeing?
Yeah. Oh, oh my God, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't think I've ever. I was saying to someone recently, because also people keep being like, "Oh my God, you started doing comedy. That's so brave." I'm like, no, no. Like fighting fires is brave. Going into active war zones is brave. Being an organ donor is brave. This is just one part of my midlife crisis. I think, like you know, like the final evolution of Pokemon is this. It's insane, but the nerves, I would rather, with having not danced in years, I would rather go up on stage with no music and no rehearsal and take all my clothes off. That feels way less scary than this. Like
Huh.
those silences, you can like, they feel like they go on forever, and then when you finally get a laugh, you're like, oh my God, I think I'm gonna throw up. The trying to remember it, and also like, I've been very lucky in the sense that I've kind of come straight out the gate and been getting booked on lineups because of gorgeous, kind folks like yourself who are like,
Oh.
I'm gonna I'm gonna bet on this kid. She says at 36, but yeah, it's really it's nerve wracking. But I think if you don't feel those nerves, then you're not feeling. Even like before Heartbreakers kicks in, even before I do my opening monologue, I'm like, okay, like and like the last time we did a party, I did quite like a call to action, quite a big monologue that was out of like this. It was around what we normally do, but it had a lot more weight to it, and I was nervous for the whole night until we did that because I didn't know how the crowd were going to take it. So yeah, I think nerves are a really good thing. Not if they make you like debilitated, but it's nice to feel something, isn't it?
It is. But like, I guess, like, for me, I've been performing stand up for 8 years, and I still get stage fright every single time. It's just
Really?
every single time, babes. Like, honestly, I've just had to kind of sit down and do like these mental gymnastics to be like, your emotions are not facts, but they are a signal, and they signal that you care about doing a good job. So do a good job. And like, it's this internal dialogue that like I have with myself to be like, no. Okay, this is, you're freaking out, but don't run away with it because it does mean something. It's just, it's not about the negative self-talk. Just because you feel like you might not be good enough, it doesn't mean you're not qualified to be there. But it is a dialogue I have in my head. Um, and I was wondering too, like, is there something you do to like psych yourself up, like when you're nervous, or,
I
you know,
think I think my fear now is forgetting my lines. I'm now in a space and place of my material. If I've got the time, I'm like trying out crowd work, which I'm really keen to do and see what comes out of that, because I think because of the way that I am conversationally and the way I am anyway, I'm very quick in a conversation. So I'm enjoying that, but it's the like, shit, what if I forget my lines? And actually,
Mm.
I was really nervous before the Bitches and Stitches show that you booked me for like 2 weeks ago, a week ago. I don't know, time is a construct. But I think I was like third up, because I was like, babe, please can you put me on early? Like, I'm brand new and I will shit myself. Like, please, I'll have an episode if I go on any later than like the first half. And you were so kind to accommodate that for me. But like the first comedian, I think, said something about oat milk, and I was like, shit, that's my material. And then and like, I'm brand new at this, and then another comedian mentioned something about being a Barbie, and I was like, oh no, nothing about me is interesting or unique.
No.
And I was like, this is it. I'm never gonna perform again. This will be my second and last. Yeah, okay. Yeah, and like, I like psyched myself out, like, this is it. Okay, we gave it a good go. And it was like, you gave it 2 goes, but sure. So yeah, and then once I took the mic and I got that first laugh, I was just flying. I was like, I am in. Like, so
You killed it. Oh my God. Because like you did say, you're like, can I go in the first half, like, and I didn't put you on first because I feel like that's just a lot. Like, if you go on
yeah.
first and you haven't seen what the crowd is reacting to, or like, been able to read the room, it can be quite daunting. But yeah, no, you absolutely destroyed it. And I was just like, how is this not even her fifth gig? It is, honestly, I'm super impressed. And it was, you did wonderfully. That's why I wanted to just ask, like, in general, like, you are a confident but not wankery person. And I think
Oh, thanks.
there's a balance between that just like it makes your act like very heartwarming and approachable, but also like very distinctive, right? Like, you've lived, babes. But
I was at a party recently. Someone was like, I feel like you have a lot of stories. I was like, where shall we begin? I was like, pick a year and just say a word and I will go from there. I was like, babe, yeah, I feel like it's so funny. I'm 36 years old, but like, I genuinely feel 23 years old. And then at the same time, I genuinely feel like that old lady on the Titanic when she's like, it's been 84 years. I'm like, how am I only 36? How am I still alive at this point? Like, I might look like a cute housewife today, but I'm just hiding the sins of what came before this. But like, the confidence. I don't know. I think, again, some people are like girls, which I am, but I'm also like an extrovert. I think I lack a certain sense of like self, just shame. I think that's probably, people tell me the craziest things, and I think that's because they just look at me and they're like, this lady isn't going to judge me, and I'm like, never. I don't know. I am genuinely like, I think I've done like personality tests and all that sort of stuff. I love a good quiz. And I think I am like 93% extrovert. There is so little introvert in me. I really lack. I can walk into a room full of strangers, no problem. I've always been that way. I'm the kind of person at a wedding, I request to not be sat with my partner or any of my friends. Okay. I'm like, I know these people. Don't waste my time. I was like, put me with the aunts and the uncles. Put me with strangers. And they're like, you want to sit with strangers and not your best friends? I'm like, yeah.
It's a blessing and a curse to be responsible for the fun every time you walk into a room. You know what I mean? Like, I'm also that person. They'll be like, oh, you don't want to sit with your husband? I'm like, oh, it's him again. No, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm like, I know everything about these people. I was like, give me fresh meat. I really am like a 365 party girl, like, I really, I'm sure lots of people call me a brat. I don't know. I have no problem entering a room full of strangers, and just being like, tell me everything about you. I don't know where that confidence comes from. I have a very eccentric mother, like, who is the kind of person that will just like leave a table in a restaurant and just go like sit with another table uninvited, like it's so
my grandma's like that.
Yeah. My mum is she wants to just regale people with stories. She's bored of people she knows. So I guess that's where I get it from.
I think
Um,
there's something to say about like when you have that like confident, strong female lead like in your life, it does kind of give you that blueprint, like, and shows you, you know, what it's like, what it's like to just be open to like connecting with people, because it can be very
yeah.
scary for a lot of people. I think you and I have that same vibe though that we bring to the function. Um, but I was gonna say, like, okay, we've alluded to it, but I do want to talk about it because we met through Heartbreakers Club, and again, you are new to the London stand-up community, but you're like the co-founder of one of like London's fastest Flinta forward communities. And can you tell us like what the origin story is of Heartbreakers Club and like what you're all about?
I would love to. It's my favorite thing to talk about in the world. So, I'm the co-founder of Heartbreakers Club. The other co-founder is Alex Ingram, my best friend, and it was born out of her divorce. It was born out of a heartbreak, and then forged in the fires of like feral female friendship. And we've kind of
Love.
just combined all the things that we love. So we have strippers and burlesque shows, we have crafts. So you can just sit in the corner and craft and do like vision boards or make friendship bracelets. And then because I have an extensive wardrobe of many ridiculous treasures and things, we have a really cute like content area. I hate the word photo booth because it kind of like summons images of like just like
It's just like plastic mustaches or
yeah,
so,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah,
what I
yeah, yeah,
mean? But
yeah.
it's
And
not
like
that at
reindeer, yeah.
all.
No, it's like gorgeous couture pieces. There's Studio Venus have just got involved and they bring a beautiful, like wildly, like very heartbreaker centric curated vintage rail of things you can
Mm.
just wear in the party or rent or buy or whatever you want. So we really encourage dressing up. Obviously, I am a dress up queen. I'm a, I live if Lady Gaga like lives for the applause, I live to dress up all day, every day. Um, so yeah, it combines all the things that we love. And then Heartbreakers Club literally was a playlist that I put together when Alex was going through her conscious uncoupling, when she was leaving her husband.
Mm.
I started sending her a few tunes. She said, oh, this really helps, I love it. So then obviously my little like ADHD lizard brain was like, well, I must keep doing this. So then then her being organized, like we're making it into a playlist, and I called it Heartbreakers Club because I thought that was just like cunty and kitschy and campy and cute and everything
Mm.
we want to be. And it just felt really cute. And then we started sending these tunes between us as like kind of like a way of communicating, like a little private love language. And then we were like, this is an iconic playlist. And then we realized we designed our own like private algorithm, which was only female vocals,
Mm.
only tunes that empower, inspire, and motivate. Like nothing that will ever tear down another woman to build yourself up. Which like there are some bangers out there, but then you listen to the lyrics, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
why are you calling everyone a bitch? Like we are, but like do you nice words. And then nothing that will ever pedestal or centralize a man. Nothing about like kind of
Got it. Yeah.
romantic love. It's always about kind of empowering yourself. So unless it's like revenge core, and then we love it. So that is the algorithm. We'll take you on a musical journey. Alex DJs, I MC the whole night. It's kind of like a story told hype girl set, and then the end of it is one big fat rave. Drum and bass, garage, vibes, bangers.
I love it. I love it. And I mean, and like you end when people can like still take the bus or the tube home. I guess that's the
I
best
know. We
part.
start doors open 7:30. We kick you out by 1 a.m. And the next party is on the 30th of April, Thursday, 30th of April.
I got my
Yes,
ticket.
you did. You always get your ticket. Like you are incredible. You are just the best heartbreaker we could ever have wished
Oh,
for. Like you
thank
are
you.
just you
Again, I
show
think
up, show
there's
out.
yeah, I think there's just something really important, whether it's, nightlife, whether it's comedy. I think community just plays a really fundamental role um, in helping women express themselves and show up as their authentic selves. We're living in a weird time.
Yeah.
Let's just say we're living in a weird time, and I think that like there, yeah, it's really important to like create and nurture and foster these communities.
You're so good at it, by the way. Like,
Oh,
like
thank you.
I was thinking about this call today and thinking about you and just like, it's, yeah, it's our first birthday next year, which is insane that we've only had a year of Heartbreakers, because it feels like it's taken over, like, not taken over, it feels like it's been our entire lives. It's given us, but the people that it's brought into our lives, some people it's brought back into my lives. Like, you know, I love that you were like, you rocked up and were like, I'm coming by myself. Was that cool? And I was like, hell to the yeah, you're going to meet all your new best friends. And it, yeah, it has just created this. We never set out to create a community. We were just a friggin' performance duo wanting to start a night. And then it's just morphed into something else. And so many people have like claimed it as their own. And I love that. I really, really love how much it means to people that aren't me and Alex. And it's a real like choose your own quest, the night. Like for some people it's the most wholesome night of their life, and some people it gets completely feral.
But it works for everybody, and I love that, right?
Exactly.
It's just nice to go out and have a night that's like not necessarily about hooking up. It's like, look, let's just center friendship, flinta friendship, you know, and just make it about connection, that's like wholesome but also feral. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I love it.
It's full like red tent coven energy, but for like a modern era. It's like,
Yeah.
let the girlies dance. Like one of my best friends, like Riss, just walked into one of the parties recently and just took all her clothes off on the dance floor and then like got changed while everyone was like, what? Like, you know, we have like dance circles where people are getting absolutely buck wild, and being away from the male gaze is so fun. And I'm speaking as someone who used to take her clothes off for like money and entertainment. It's just so fun. It's so like authentic and raw, and like, I don't know, I hate to use the word safe, but there's like a
But
real
it is. It is.
sensual safety to it.
Yes, absolutely. But speaking, I guess, of like expression, freedom of expression, I did want to, I guess, shift gears a little bit, just like into your career as a stylist. I mean, you know, you've built quite the headliner career, just like looking at your website and your socials. And, you know, this is again, it seems different, but it's not necessarily an offshoot of what you're doing with Heartbreakers Club, of what you're doing even with comedy, is that like making people feel comfortable and confident being their authentic selves and expressing that. And I want to get your take on like the role of personal style in building confidence.
Oh, this is such a good question. I think, yeah, I mean, I've had a long ass styling career. There has been ups, downs, and just the monotony of it all. But it's been beautiful. Like I've been able to access all parts of it, from like high end editorial, like commercial, TV. Like it's been beautiful. But yeah, the personal style sense of it, I think, is so beautiful. Being able to help somebody like conceive and develop who they want to be and think about it in like a really conceptual way is so much fun. Like I am such an obnoxious art school kid. I really am the most obnoxious person in the world, because I'm where like theatre kid and like art school kid meet, and it's like, ugh, there is nothing worse than those two things. I mean, you combine them, terrible. I'm unbearable. But yeah, I'm a fashion stylist, but I prefer the word style over fashion, because I think that style is inherently who you are, whereas fashion is something that we reproduce. It's inherently like steeped in capitalism, and we're taught to like hate ourselves, to buy things to fix it,
Mm.
and whereas style is something that lives with us forever and is so expressive in who you are. I love looking at someone's hands and seeing that like every ring on their finger is a choice and a story. I think the way that we use jewelry is like magic and adornment, and yeah, it's just beautiful. And I love to see the evolution of how people have got to where they are. That's why I'm obsessed with old women, because I'm like, tell me everything, talk me through
Oh
every
my God,
freaking dress in your
yes.
wardrobe. That's my biggest passion. So yeah, being able to help somebody unearth those parts of themselves. And I've worked with clients who are like, oh, I could never wear that, whether it's like a short skirt or a certain color. And it's just unearthing that. I'll always start with, build me a board of who you are, and I don't want any clothes on it. I don't want like a shoe or a dress. I want an interior. I want a pop culture icon, like whether it's like historical or modern. I want
Mm-hmm.
a color palette you're drawn to in a painting. I think all these things inherently collectively make up who we are, and it's so much fun to play with. And unfortunately, I think actually fun is going to come back through in style. I think 2026, everyone is so sad and scared that silly and whimsy and fun and self-expression are going to reign supreme, because we've been taught to like beiges and browns and bodycon and this kind of like, no offense to the Kardashians, like get your money honeys, but there's nothing fun or playful or expressive about it. It's teaching people to be small and not be seen. And actually, I want to see people just like burst. And you haven't got to be like a big rainbow monster, but just, you know, looking good in your clothes and feeling yourself and feeling authentic and unique is just like a really beautiful process.
And be comfortable to rage against the beige, man. You know what I mean? I think some people just find that it's like the safe, neutral color, but they don't necessarily love beige.
No,
But
like who? Like, fine, tell me why. Like, I don't know. I would the best way to make me lose my mind would be to lock me in a neutral space. Put me in like a completely beige or like black or like brown outfit. Put me
oh,
in like a white box with like overhead lighting, and that I would crack. I would crack up in seconds.
I actually have a
Um,
joke about that where I get into a fight with my mom and I'm like, I'm going to put you in a home where everything's beige. And she is like, well, I have five other children and they went to better schools. So
and they'll be paying for the home.
I know. She was no, she's quite sassy herself. One thing I did want to ask also is, do you are you intentional about the outfits that you select, like to wear on stage for comedy? Would they be any different to what you wear to Heartbreakers Club?
Yes, 100%. It's all about branding. So the funny thing is about comedy is it's not even funny. God, be better than that. This is a comedy questionnaire, but it's the first time I'm doing something fully by myself in a really long time. As a stylist, everything I do is collaborative. I can't do anything by myself. I have to have an entire
Mm,
team. I can run the team, I can direct the team, I can be behind the wheel, but like it's a team game. It's a team sport. Heartbreakers, we are a duo, and
mm,
we wear matching. Our colours are pink and red. Those are the colours of the Heartbreakers Club, kind of like a football club, pink and red. And we have a really specific aesthetic, which is
yeah.
like very sexy. Huntsville. It's very bodycon. We really like to show off our bodies because I think that's kind of like quite a radical act of like women
Yes.
aged 36 and 38. Instagram hates it, by the way. We've been, yeah, they don't like to see it coming. But on stage, I think it's kind of like my uniform. So it's how I feel comfortable. It's the look that I like. So always a pair of like boots.
Nice. Yeah.
I love a cowboy boot. The flashier the better, sequined ideally. And I like to wear a mini skirt just because I'm short. I have a very big personality, but I'm short, and I quite like the movement it gives me. And I like things to be flashy, just because a lot of my comedy is, she says with her one set, is taking the piss out of the way that I look. And playing with that, because a lot of people assume things. You look at me and you make assumptions, and either I'm going to prove them right or prove them wrong,
I
or
love that. Yeah.
throw some new things into the mix that you wouldn't expect someone like me to be into or think about.
Mm.
So I like to be as like, I mean, in my everyday life, I'm hyper femme anyway. But yeah, I think the the comedy uniform is definitely my like favorite uniform in life, which is like, yeah, kind of a mini dress and a pair of boots. I feel really comfortable in that, and I can move, and it just feels like good proportions for me.
And to be honest, I think this is something that men don't necessarily, straight men, sorry, don't necessarily maximize. Is that like that I know a lot of women or like femmes and thems in comedy actually do work with, is that like because we're not cis het men, we are being judged the second we even
Yeah.
start walking to the stage based on our appearance. And why not make that part of the act, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I think the whole thing that I do also love about comedy is that, again, you're fucking with people's expectations,
Yeah.
um, or proving them right in a way that also makes them laugh. And I think, you know, what you wear and the vibe that kind of gives off can be very much part of the act. Cishet men don't have that necessarily. I don't really know many straight male comedians who do
Yeah.
that.
Exactly. I was thinking, whereas the queer guys out there are looking fabulous. I heard as yeah, teacher teach me. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know. I heard there's like a kind of a well-known thing out there that as a lot of the female comics dress down because they're not taken seriously if they present as hyper femme or even just a little bit femme. So a lot of the women have been taught, maybe this is like generations ago and maybe this isn't relevant now, but you tell me, teacher. Yeah, women have been encouraged, or it's just kind of a known secret to not be femme because you won't be taken seriously if you like present like this, and also from potentially like a safety point of view.
I have gotten that feedback actually. Again, I've gigged in 7 countries, and I think it is just like not a cultural thing. It's kind of a sexism thing.
Yeah,
Um, I've had a venue be too afraid to tell me, but tell the female producer to tell me that because I wore a low cut dress at the gig they saw me at, not to wear that to the gig I was going to do in that venue. And I said, I'm not going to lie, this feels quite sexist. And they were like, actually, boys aren't allowed to wear shorts. And I'm like, I don't know how true that is because I've seen a couple
yeah,
of them and you know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah,
do think there is that stigma, that, and again, you know, whether it's comedy or not, like as women or femme presenting people, like we are judged for how we look, whether that has to do with what we're wearing or not. But at the end of the day, for me, again, if it's a safe enough space, if I'm there with mates and stuff, like I'm gonna wear what I'm gonna wear because I like showing up and being the girly girl, you know? I
yeah,
like showing up and being like, you know what? I'm gonna wear pink and I'm gonna wear sequins and I'm gonna talk about my vagina, like, or my period. And I kind of like that, that juxtaposition of just like, wait, what is she talking about?
yeah.
And if it's safe space, then yeah, I will do that.
Oh my God, Bitches and Stitches was like my favorite gig so far. It was like, oh, this is my crowd. I friggin' loved what I was wearing that night. I was like, yeah, this is the look. And on Sunday I did my first ever open mic, and I was like this, and it was the first time I'd ever not come with like at least 1 to 3 people. I was there by myself. I was coming
Oh
off the back
no,
end of
okay.
going to a premiere, so I was like, yes, I am dressed, but like I was dressed,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
dressed.
yeah.
And I was there alone. It wasn't the best experience. And then afterwards, I was like, I am a tiny little lady. Like I'm 5'2". I'm, you know, I'm small. I'm presenting as like not just femme, but like hyper, like Miss Piggy femme. And I was like, oh, there was like some interactions where I was like, I think I'm going to leave. And I was like, okay, that's something to think about going into this. Um, yeah, and like some of the stuff I talk about could maybe give people like the wrong impression. So I was like, oh, okay, all right. What does this look like? How do we move forward?
And I think, yeah, that's a very, I think that you bring up a very important topic of like, you know, because there's so many open mics in London, and again, I've been here for 9 months, so I'm also like, I can't speak for, I can't claim to know all of them, but again, it always is like you know, a good precaution to kind of like make sure you do have like someone with you and
Yeah,
stuff because, or just to have an exit strategy.
yeah,
Because I mean, yeah, you don't have to be there if you don't feel safe, right? And
totally.
not all of it has been the best experience. I mean, I actually met Ari, like the co-founder of Bitches and Stitches London, at a mic where somebody got up there and it wasn't even jokes. He was just saying very homophobic, sexist, racist comments, zero punchlines. Nobody reacted, you know, favorably. And I think he obviously picked that up and he left. But I'm like, did you literally just say all of these things with like 40% of the room being global majority, like, and
Yeah.
women? Um, you know, and it is a reality, I think, that we do have to face again, which is why it's so important, I think, that we create these spaces where women can safely express themselves, can safely show up as themselves. But I mean, on top of safe spaces, I think sometimes, you know, it's not enough to create your own rooms. I think, you know, it's something to fucking shout about, maybe march the streets about. Can you tell us a little bit about
Um,
what you've got going on this weekend?
are you coming?
Um, I'm on the fence because I've been invited to speak somewhere out of London.
Got it.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to say yes because it's not for money.
Got it.
But
Got it. Well, hey,
yeah.
it starts early, you know, you can always like nip in on the way. We are so Heartbreakers Club are joining Women Against the Far Right for the march this weekend. So yeah, I mean, we have always taken a very strong stance on being very loud and very proud trans allies and advocates. We are obviously a woman. That's what I am. But we are a night for women and non-binary folk and anyone that identifies as female, and we are very clear on that because we never want to be co-opted by other women's groups because it happens, you know. And yeah, very loud, very proud allies. And I felt the call very, very strongly to Women Against the Far Right. I mean, that is the space that I've built a community. We've built a community. It's a space that, with my following, I take up. You know, I'm probably followed by, like, I would say very much mainly women. And yeah, right now it's stand up and be counted. Like, stand for something or fall for everything. And I think the other side are very organized, and you know, especially as quite liberal people, it's like, well, what can I do? It's like, you can just show up. And I'm again, the extrovert that I am, I will just rock up to a protest by myself and like get straight in. That isn't for everyone. It can be really overwhelming going to protests.
Mm-hmm.
For neurodivergent people, you know, it can be a sensory overload. There is so much emotional regulation you have to do. So if you can go with your gang, with your tribe, with your team, and feel like you're part of something, a small part of something, and something that's huge, that can feel so powerful. Like, again, the power of clothes. Any protest I go to, I'm like, what are the colors? You know, like let's dress the part. So yeah, at our last party, I called the Heartbreakers to action, and I was like, let's dance through these streets for diversity and democracy. Let's stand in solidarity with our sisters, and let's march for like peace, love, and unity, because that's what we stand for. You know, I believe that trans rights are human rights. I believe that refugees aren't just welcome, but they are loved, wanted, needed here. And yeah, I believe in the equality of all women. I don't believe that we need protecting by certain fractions. We need protecting from them, actually. So yeah, it's a big stance. It's a different stance for me to take, but I've always been doing this work in the background, and it's time for me just to, like, yeah, put my not even my money, just put my protest where my mouth is, you know.
These boots are made for walking.
So I'm gonna be there.
Can you tell us like where we're meeting, like what the logistics are, what time it starts?
11:30 onwards. We're going to be in Block E. I can't remember these off the top of my head. Hold, please.
Holding.
We're going to be in Block E, and we're going to be marching with Women Against the Far Right. And there's a what 3 words that I can give you. I'm just getting the details. And we're also marching alongside. We've joined in gorgeous allyship with ADHD AF, which is the ADHD podcast run by my lovely friend Laura. And yeah, she was like, she's the Leopard Print Army. We're obviously the red and pink girlies of Heartbreakers Club.
I love it.
So yeah, we're going to be meeting near 45 Park Lane. So central London, 45 Park Lane. We're going to be Block E, Women Against the Far Right. I'm going to be holding a giant pink megaphone. I'm going to have all the pink and red banners out. So you'll see all the Heartbreakers. Come wearing pink and red. Come join. I will look after you. I will look out for you. You will not be going there alone. You'll be coming to join the Heartbreakers, and it would be an absolute honor and a privilege and a pleasure to welcome any of you into our tribe.
Amazing. Yeah, maybe I'll go. I'll ditch this stuffy speaking engagement.
you can like, the thing is also with the protest, you don't have to commit to all day. I'm going to be there at 11:30 until I am, till I have to leave. But you can just pop in. And I'm gonna have speakers with all of our Heartbreakers tunes on them. So we're gonna be blaring Britney. We're gonna be blaring all the diva icons. We're gonna be blaring our fight anthems. Like, protests are serious. What's going on in the world right now is serious. But joyful resistance is powerful. And I think in the last year, that's what I've stepped into. I've started a party. I've started to be a stand-up comedian, and I really thought about this recently. I was like, oh my God, I just want to get people together dancing and laughing. If this isn't joyful resistance, I don't know what is. Like, we can dance through these streets. We can fight the hate with love and with joy, and that is so powerful. And it's so powerful when we're together. They want us to think that we're alone and we're in solitude and there's nothing that we can do. I'm just one person. But the minute you go to a protest and you see how many other people are there, you literally feel like you could run through a wall. You're like, there is nothing we can't do.
And there is, something about bringing that attitude of just like being together as women in solidarity instead of feeling isolated and disconnected and looking at each other as competition. And I think this is the importance that community plays in all of that, right? Because if we have one woman rise, yes, that's progress. If we have a bunch of us come together and rise, fucking power. You know what I mean?
You are so good at that, Fran. You honestly, you are such an incredible advocate, ally. Like, I really want you just to know like how appreciative I am of like how hard you fought for like not you fought, but like just like advocated, loved, shouted out Heartbreakers Club. You put me on a lineup when I was like, I've done one little showcase, and you're like, get up there, girl. Like, you really do like talk the talk and walk the walk. And
thank
you. That's quite rare. Some people it is again, I'm not like shouting anyone out here, but like for some people it can be quite performative, whereas for you you really are like doing it. And yeah, I just want to say that.
Thank you. I just have had enough.
Yeah.
I've had enough of being told to play small. So I'm just like in the eyes of the patriarchy, let's call this my villain era. But hey
babe, I built a party called Heartbreakers Club. If that isn't entering your villain era, I don't know what is. Like, I'm there. Let's do it.
Absolutely. Okay, we're coming to the end of this. I do want to ask one final question. So you've just started, but like if somebody told you that you couldn't do comedy anymore, if you couldn't do comedy and tell jokes and make people laugh anymore, how would you want people to remember your act or you?
I mean, how would I communicate? All I do is make people laugh. Campy, kitschy, cunty. Like every part of who I am, it's campy, kitschy, cunty.
That's going to be your Fringe review. That's going to be your 5-star review. I love it. Okay, well, I wanted to say thank you, Twinks, for doing this live Q&A with me. Again, for those of you who are watching this after the fact, it'll probably be on our Substack or chunked out on our Instagram. Follow Twinks and Heartbreakers Club. I will tag them, of course. And again, thank you for doing the Bitches and Stitches gig. Let's do it again. It was super fun. And I will see you this weekend.
Saturday, 28th of March. Let's take to the streets, baby.
All right. Thanks, babes. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.